41 fucking years old. That's the last thing I damn needed. I've already got Alzheimer's. I don't need an outside substance to amplify that, but that's what he decided to give me. And I want you to know something, because Will gives me so many props, Dro does, and I haven't pioneered anything. I cannot take props. He will tell people that I started him on this poetry scene. No, I didn't. Dro came to me fly. When we were on, what was it, Black Voices? Yeah, Black Voices.
AOL 3.0, nigga, what?
Okay. And he told me he wrote poetry, and I invited him out to some spots, but he had started sending me poetry long before that. Sick. And I was like, why aren't you reciting? He had never been to a spot before, so maybe that's the only introduction I can claim, that he came out to a beauty spot, Urban Sweets, for the first time, and from there, watching him has been like watching the proverbial poetic immigrant. You know how black folks used to get mad at other cultures for coming and building up a store and making some shit happen that we had ignored that was in our neighborhood the whole fucking time, but we got the audacity. What the fuck are you doing with a fruit stand, bitch? Why don't you have a fruit stand? You've been living here for 45 generations. Will was that person that came along and said, why don't we have our own poetry spot that we don't ever have to worry about getting kicked out of? And then he purchased one for y'all. So give my son a round of applause. And all this Alzheimer's, we'll see what happens. That's all right. I see that they've gotten you upset if you work that out, because I'm too big to duck. The bullet's gonna fucking hit me no matter where I go. Doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, well, you gotta know my memory from jump. It's not really an age thing, it's a me thing, so we good. If I were a boy, even just for a day, I'd roll out of bed in the morning, throw on what I wanted and love. If I were a boy, I think I could understand. But I doubt it. Because if I were a boy, I would long to one day become at least a halfway decent man. And I really wouldn't see how showing the world everything from my lumbar to the end curve of my ass could somehow manifest that plan. But I doubt it. Because if I were a boy, I would long to one day become at least a halfway decent man. And I wouldn't understand how showing the world everything from my lumbar to the end curve of my ass could somehow manifest that plan. See, if I were a boy, I really wouldn't want my waistband hanging 25 inches beneath my lower back, with a thin layer of cotton being the only thing standing between me, the universe, and my ass crack. Please, fall back with that. See, if I were a boy, you couldn't pay me to emulate the two prison circumstances that are this fucked up style's inspiration. One, belts are neither state nor federally issued. And two, confirmation to another prisoner lusting after that ass, or that booty's already been taken. But see, some of you are so twisted up in the game, you don't know what to idolize first. Gangsta glory or celebrity riches. So it really comes as no surprise that most of the foot draggers and pants saggers routinely refer to women as stupid bitches are what you look like. And maybe it's because I'm not a boy that the shit will just never look right, but I am a woman who regards her men as kings. And I love it when they're depicted in a favorable light, yet here you sag, forcing me to mourn the death of your dignity, as you have the audacity to walk in front of me with your ass cheeks twerking. You are becoming harder and harder to defend, making me unable to despise white women who clutch their purses whenever you approach. Once I realize I'm clutching mine at the same time and with the same precision as them. If I were a boy, maybe I could justify it by saying dumb shit like, we ain't slaves no more. We wear them this way to show we no longer run. We no longer step and fetch. But you forget, with justification of every foolish action, there's always a catch. Because you don't have to be prison-bound, a thug, or a misogynist. That style alone will get you lumped right into that batch, yet you follow the boys. Follow the trends. Like lambs being led to the slaughter. And if I were a boy, I wouldn't want to knock on my girl's door only to have her father whisper menacingly, I know you ain't come here looking like that to see my motherfucking daughter. Or maybe shit like that never happens to dudes who sag lower than the asses of baboons. And maybe we've just become indifferent to expecting more from you because we've grown so accustomed to seeing our boys resembling badly drawn cartoons. All I'm saying is, if I were a boy, the way y'all claim to scorn homosexuality, I probably wouldn't want to give them daily all the ass they need to serve as inspiration for any of their body fantasies. Because newsflash, it's not just sisters who are looking at you and shaking their heads. They're also gay dudes gazing at your barely concealed half moons, wondering what it would take to get you into bed. There are employers who cluster with their supervisors to do straight stand-up comedy about you less than 10 minutes after your incredibly thugged the fuck out interview. There are teachers so disgusted that their female students are subjected to your ass, they don't even bother to look for your potential anymore. So you'll never get the respect or the attention that you deserve in their class. And certainly, I understand. Snap judgments are usually of bullshit born. But to paraphrase Dave Chappelle, just because your pants sag, that doesn't necessarily make you a thug, but you are for goddamn sure wearing the thug uniform. And Lord knows, I was prepared to step on toes the moment I chose to express my disdain for the saggers, thinking they're representing swagger by keeping their asses on display. Well, remember this, you heard it here first, I don't give a fuck, so please. Because any protest a sagger offers while holding up his pants so they don't drop